naturally leavened bread dough made into a braid. Once again, we're going to use water on our hands. We're going to press the dough out into the pan. When we did the flatbread, we used 2 pounds of dough. This time, we're only using 1. We want our braid dough to be nice and thin because we're going to fold it over on top of itself. We're using our pastry roller to roll the dough out to fill the pan. Don't be afraid to push hard to stretch the dough, but don't rip it. You're going to be careful to keep it nice and even. These braids make lovely desserts, lovely main courses, fun gifts. They're very versatile. You can put just about anything in them. They taste delicious and they look beautiful. The technique used to make the actual braid. We're using a cutter about 2.5 inches in diameter, and we're going to make cuts from the edge of the pan towards the center, about 1.5 inches wide, all the way down the side. These are going to be used to do the actual braiding of the bread. Once we cut the slits down the sides, we'll fill the center with the different vegetables or fruit fillings, depending on what you're trying to make. And then we'll braid the dough over the top. We're going to add a little bit more sauce for flavor right here down the top before we close this braid up. The sauce will carry all the flavors and provide some continuity and uniformness to our braid. And then we're going to top it with some lovely fresh sliced tomatoes. These are fresh cut, fresh picked from the garden. They're sweet and delicious. Okay, now we're ready to actually do our braid. The technique is taking the right-hand side, crossing it over to the third on the left, and pressing it in. Doing the same with the left-hand side to the third on the right. Now you're just going to continue down each side, one by one. As you pull the sides, you'll want to lift at the bottom to ensure that your toppings don't spill out and your dough doesn't separate from the base. Proceed down both sides of the braid until you've braided each slat in. As we reach the bottom of our braid, we want to weave the slats on top of each other. The slat on the opposite side that would be left over, we're going to use at the top to seal in the top of our braid. And there it is. We're going to let this sit for a little while to rise, and then we'll bake it. Our braided loaf is now ready to bake. We're going to bake it at 450 for 18 minutes. Now remember, we've already placed that pan of water inside the oven when we preheated our oven. Our naturally leavened bread dough braided loaf is done. We're ready to take it out of the oven. Now we're going to let it sit and rest for about 15 minutes before we actually cut into it. Like any other loaf of bread, if cut too soon, it becomes doughy. So we need to let it cool for just a little while. It's beautiful. It can be served as is. It can be served with some sauce ladled over the top. It can be eaten hot or cold. It's delicious and it's versatile. Our braided loaf leaked a little bit down this side. You can see that a few of the little joints are low and the sauce has boiled up and out. That's a common occurrence if we don't pull the sides up high enough. You can see on this side that all the seams are high and the loaf was pulled up enough that there was no leakage. It still tastes just as good, just makes the pan easier to clean if it doesn't leak out. Naturally leavened dough is a very versatile dough, very versatile starter to make doughs out of. Makes beautiful pancakes. Lovely loaves of bread, pita bread, cinnamon rolls, and braided loaves filled with all kinds of yummy delights. Vegetables, fruits, treats, whatever you like. Enjoy using naturally leavened doughs.
I love being Original Fast Foods Kids, and I love Daniel's Challenge.